If you're a coach or consultant who wants to attract more clients without suffering from burnout, you're going to love my guest today. She's going to explain how to do that with confidence. Hello and welcome to the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast, where we share strategies to help coaches and consultants build life-affirming seven-figure businesses filled with passion and purpose. I'm your host, Ken Stephen, and my guest today is Shauna Van Mourik. Shauna works with women solopreneurs to create positive impact through authentic branding and marketing strategies that attract dream clients. Hey, that sounds wonderful, Shauna. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, listen, my pleasure. I'm anxious to just dive in and find out how you help people. So why don't we start by helping everybody understand, who your ideal client is and how you serve them.
Yeah, absolutely not a problem. So typically I'm working with women, coaches and therapists. These people are coming to me because they want to stop following outdated, soul-sucking marketing advice from so-called gurus who really send them on the wrong path. They're giving them cookie cutter solutions for their multi-passionate, amazing lives, right? And so here we're talking about more so showing up in a way that feels good within and about yourself and actually works so that you can live a lifestyle that makes sense for you, not for some corporate soul-sucking guru.
Okay, so this is important, right? You're basically helping people become their authentic selves in their business instead of just doing business the way other people say you should do business.
Absolutely. In fact, I have to say that I invented this. What do you want to call it? This ideology called the two-icities. They are what I call, they are authenticity and simplicity. And this ideology of the two-icities is such that they play into each other. The more authentic you can become in the various levels of your life and business, the simpler it becomes, the simpler your choices become. And then the cool thing about that is that the simpler you can make your life, the easier it is for you to lean back into your authentic self. So you can see how this is
Hmm.
cyclical in creating the life and lifestyle that you want to live.
Yeah, hey, that's interesting. That's an interesting point. Um, so how did you get started doing this?
Goodness gracious, it was a journey. I actually started out in the psychology field. I have two degrees, one in psychology and neuroscience, and the other one in business rhetoric and professional writing. So I merged those initially in a job where I was supporting people with special needs. But from there, I realized that my passion, although I loved how fulfilling that was, my real passion was to help the helpers, the people who were actually going in there to empower not only people with special needs, but the people who were ready to make an impact, those coaches, therapists, and other helpers who really want to see the world become a better place.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to help them with my knowledge and skill set to do so, which is where I started leaning on content creation, then copywriting, which is just words that get people to take action, and then branding and marketing. It all feeds into one another and it helps me to exponentially pay it forward by helping the helpers.
Very heart-centered business. Yes. Um, so from a marketing perspective, right? Which is really the core of how you help people grow their business, right?
Yes.
What's the biggest mistake you see that most coaches and therapists are making in their business right now, and how would you advise them to fix that?
Well, I have to admit, it's kind of twofold. And at the same time, blended. I see a lot of coaches and therapists who are not showing up as their authentic selves. And this shouldn't be a surprise after my spiel about authenticity and simplicity. But I want to combine that with the fact that they're trying to do it all. Most of the time, coaches and therapists are getting into this role because they want to help people. They want to be in service. They didn't necessarily get into it because they are business savvy, marketing savvy. And so when they're trying to do it all, they are effectively not being authentic to themselves. And they're actually shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak. They wind up being the bottleneck to their own success because they don't know all the things and they're not supposed to.
Mm.
So it's important for them, the helpers, to indeed ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. Good point. So, if someone was to start working with you, a coach or a therapist, and clearly they're not doing themselves a service because they're trying to do everything themselves, what process would you take them through to get on a better path?
Absolutely. One of the first things that I always push people to do, and this is not something to be taken lightly, even though oftentimes in business we do, is to really get in touch with yourself and what type of life you want to live.
Mm,
This is kind of akin to when you talk about reverse engineering your goals. But in this case, we're talking about your lifestyle first. Because isn't that why we got into entrepreneurship in the first place? We wanted to have freedom, control. We wanted to be able to live life as we want on our own
yeah.
terms. But oftentimes we get caught up in all of the putting out all the fires and doing all the things that we forget that the ultimate goal was that freedom, that ability to really fight for what you believe in. And so when we can reflect on who we are and what type of life we want to live, we can then build the business around that and carry ourselves forward, making informed decisions that are also aligned. I often show this kind of diagram where you've got that big vision goal of your lifestyle, that dream. This is the impact I want to create, the life I want to live. And down here we have the foundation, who you are, what you stand for, your values. That's your the sticky stuff of your brand. And the strategy we make in between, that's where I work in, right? But the first step is to really figure out that sticky branding stuff, who you are, and that big vision goal, which is essentially that lifestyle you want to live. So that's the first step, really, is to hone in on that.
So I'm guessing that sticky branding stuff, like that's that sticky, the values, that your whys, all that kind of stuff. That's that's the fodder that you use to do the branding, right? The authentic branding. Tell us more about how you do that.
Oh, I'd love to. Actually, this is one of those things that I really enjoy speaking about because of a few things. First of all, people often mistake the word branding for uh, your brand visuals, right? You think branding and you're thinking logo, colors,
Mm.
fonts, etc. While that is an element of your overall brand identity, it isn't everything. And in fact, it's probably one of the last things that you want to work on. A good graphic designer or visual branding expert will require you to go through the other steps as well to really make sure that those visuals are representative of your full brand identity, which includes things like you said, your mission, your vision, your purpose, who's your client avatar, who are you, what are your values, what's your unique value proposition even. And the thing is, while you're developing those things, if you have somebody who's really good at getting into, like I say, that sticky stuff, it's going to be a process, an unearthing, a rediscovering of self as a person and as a professional. And that's something that I honestly love to do. And that's why I use the word sticky, because it's fun. It's kind of like the honey or the maple syrup of the branding and marketing.
You're definitely very passionate about it too. It comes
I'm
through.
told that.
And so is there something that anyone listening today that you could say, look, obviously I can't give you the entire solution to to help you grow your business with less burnout and all that kind of stuff. But is there one step they might be able to take today where they could see some positive results and then maybe reach out to you for help for other things?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, it's going to sound kind of counterintuitive, but I have a sort of methodology. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the details, but I will give you a part of it.
Sure.
This kind of ideology or methodology or whatever you want to call it is it incorporates a waterfall and a garden and all this beautiful, lush nature. But I'm going to specifically focus on weeding the garden.
Hmm.
If you could do anything right now, because you've already done all the things, right? You've already shown up. You've already been told all of these different strategies to implement. Be here, do that, connect with this person. I know you're over inundated with information. Learn this, do this. But what I'm actually going to encourage you to do is less. I would really strongly encourage you to look at all the things you're doing and find out what you don't need to be doing. In fact, think very critically about what you are doing that might be choking your progress. I use the story of my vegetable garden and my flower garden. I have in the front of my house a flower garden. We have morning glories, and they're beautiful, and a number of other flowers as well, but specifically the morning glories. In the back, I have all manner of vegetables, including tomatoes. Well, didn't one of my morning glories happen to be carried somehow into the back and start growing next to my tomatoes? The morning glories are beautiful. They open up with the sun and they close with the sun, I suppose. And I love them. And if I let that beautiful morning glory grow next to my tomato, 100% it would kill it. Because they are vining plants that would wrap around it and literally choke out my tomatoes. And that means no salsa. And that's no good. Not in this house. We need the salsa. So I had to pull the weed because in this case, indeed, it was a weed, even though in another circumstance, it was a flower. We need to understand which of our tasks within our business, within our marketing, might look like flowers, but in this context, in the context of your life and your unique circumstance, are actually weeds, and when you need to pull it.
Great analogy. Great analogy. Shauna, where can people learn more about how you can help them?
Oh, absolutely. You can actually head over to my website. It is shaunalee.com, SHAUNALEIGH.com. If you want to connect with me directly, you just need to add a /connect-with-Shauna, and then you can reach me directly.
Okay, great. Is there anything that you have to offer people that maybe is a free resource or something that they can grab?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if you're looking for an opportunity to really look at what is my brand and how do I want to structure my business around my lifestyle, I actually have a really cool resource that it's multidimensional. It's not only a 12-week planner. It's also a full year at a glance planner. And it comes with a training, which it's one of my favorite things in the world to offer. It's the Dream Business, Dream Life Roadmap. And it's essentially based on a really cool amalgamation of the 12-week year and the one thing. If you haven't read those books, I suggest them. And there are a few other kind of links to resources in there as well. But I have that on actually, you should reach out to me directly to get that because the website one is different. So if you want that one in particular, go to shaunalee.com /connect-with-Shauna, and I will send it to you straight away.
And the name of that again, of that resource?
Of the resource, Dream Business, Dream Life Roadmap. Because don't want that.
Dream Life Roadmap.
Exactly. And is rooted in that lifestyle, really developing your business around your lifestyle and making sure that you have a plan in place that's not going to leave you tripping over your own feet and becoming the bottleneck to your own success.
Awesome. Awesome. Sounds great. Shauna, I want to thank you for being such a generous guest with your time and your insights today. I know I certainly got some good takeaways from this, and I'm definitely going to put the links in the show notes below so that people can reach out to you and get that free resource, because that sounds like something that could be very helpful as well. For anyone listening today, if you benefited from Shauna's insights, please share this podcast with your friends so they can benefit too. And I'll see everybody the next time on the next episode of the 7-Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast. And Shauna, thanks again for being such a great guest.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a joy.
All right. Take care now. Bye for now.